Without preliminary arousal, initiating intercourse can leave one feeling unprepared. This is particularly true for individuals with a vulva, as their bodies often require more stimulation to become fully engaged. A crucial aspect to understand is the potential lack of awareness surrounding the nuances of arousal. It's often observed that individuals with a penis may view foreplay as less essential. This could stem from the more immediate and physical nature of their arousal, leading to a sensation of being readily prepared for intercourse. However, arousal manifests differently for those with a vulva. While capable of experiencing significant arousal, it frequently requires a more gradual and responsive approach rather than being entirely spontaneous. The term foreplay often conjures images of basic physical interactions like light touching and kissing, perceived as a mere prelude to the main sexual act. However, its essence extends far beyond these physical gestures. Foreplay is fundamentally about connection. It might be the most frequently underestimated, yet profoundly impactful element of a fulfilling sexual life. Let's redefine foreplay. It transcends mere physical acts involving hands, mouths, or toys. Instead, it encompasses emotional intelligence, sustained curiosity, and the deliberate cultivation of excitement, even amidst the routines and demands of daily life. We will explore why foreplay holds significance beyond a simple warm-up. Consider a compelling study that identified key differentiators between satisfying and unsatisfying sexual experiences. We will delve into practical and sensual techniques to reignite arousal, both individually and with a partner. Furthermore, we will address the issue of sexual stagnation and explore strategies to overcome it. We will also discuss common queries, such as navigating fantasies about others within a committed relationship and understanding how to achieve orgasm, particularly for those who haven't experienced it before. Before we proceed, I encourage you to reflect on your personal intentions for this discussion. What insights or explorations are you hoping to gain? My aim is to broaden your understanding of sex, to encompass the delightful and unhurried moments of anticipation that constitute foreplay. When this anticipation becomes a daily occurrence, desire not only persists, but flourishes. Let's begin. I often suggest that foreplay truly commences after the most recent orgasm. In essence, the mindset and connection that fuel desire should ideally be present throughout the day. Let's dissect the vital role of foreplay in fostering a vibrant sexual dynamic, and then explore methods to intensify its allure, along with addressing common questions surrounding it. Let's pause to consider the common perception of foreplay. There's a frequent notion that individuals with vulvas desire it, while those with penises do not. This can lead to a misunderstanding where foreplay is viewed as a persistent request from one partner. Today, I aim to dispel these myths. But first, let's clarify what foreplay truly entails. Foreplay can also be referred to as outercourse, a term I find more fitting. Foreplay seems to imply that sex is solely about penetrative intercourse, the insertion of a penis into a vagina. My perspective is that sex should encompass a much broader range of intimate acts. Foreplay, by definition, is any sexual activity preceding sexual intercourse, again, positioning it as a warm-up for the main event. However, foreplay doesn't always need to culminate in intercourse. It commonly includes activities like kissing, cuddling, touching, and intimate conversation. Personally, I deeply value foreplay, sometimes considering it the main event itself. I encourage a shift in perspective, where all forms of sexual expression, intercourse, kissing, oral sex, are viewed with equal importance and as viable choices for intimacy. Engaging in oral sex, for instance, can certainly be considered a fulfilling sexual experience on its own. It's often said that the brain is the most significant sex organ. This is particularly relevant to the idea of foreplay all day, as our minds play a crucial role in initiating and sustaining arousal. Are we actively engaging our thoughts with sensuality and connection? Foreplay throughout the day means fostering a sense of connection with your partner. This could be through a flirtatious text message, a shared intimate moment like showering together that sparks anticipation for the evening. The expectation of reuniting with your partner later can maintain a subtle undercurrent of desire. When this ongoing connection and preliminary arousal are absent, and intercourse is initiated directly, many individuals, especially those with vulvas, may find themselves unready, both physically and emotionally. A key point to grasp is that arousal isn't always understood or recognized for its complexities. This is why some individuals with penises might feel ambivalent about foreplay. Their arousal can be more immediate and physically evident, leading to a desire for uninterrupted engagement. However, those with vulvas often experience arousal in a more responsive manner. It's not that they can't or won't become aroused, but it's less likely to be spontaneous. It typically builds in response to preceding actions. Hence the importance of foreplay in creating the necessary physical and emotional environment. Ideally, the mere sight of an erect penis expressing desire would be sufficient to initiate reciprocal arousal. While this might simplify things, the reality is that the psychological and physiological processes of arousal and desire differ significantly. Understanding these differences is crucial. Foreplay offers numerous benefits, primarily by initiating and enhancing arousal, setting the stage for more satisfying intimacy. Physiologically, foreplay increases blood flow to the genitals, promoting vaginal lubrication and engorgement. This physical response is often accompanied by a deepening of emotional intimacy with one's partner. For many, a combination of factors is necessary for arousal. This might include sharing details of the day, receiving affectionate touch, and reducing stress levels. It's important to remember that stress is a major inhibitor of sexual desire and arousal. Activities like kissing are beneficial as they trigger the release of oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, while simultaneously lowering cortisol levels. These neurochemical changes foster feelings of affection, bonding, and euphoria, ultimately enhancing the capacity for arousal. Therefore, it's not an overstatement to say that foreplay isn't merely a suggestion. For many, especially those with vulvas, it's a prerequisite for experiencing desire and pleasure during any form of sexual activity. Kissing and touching are fundamental components of this preparatory phase. For some, the experience of a partner completing mundane tasks like taking out the trash, showing interest in their day, or engaging in intellectually stimulating conversation can be incredibly arousing. The connection felt through shared experiences and understanding can be a powerful aphrodisiac. For those who identify as sapiosexual, intellectual engagement can be a significant source of attraction. A stimulating conversation with someone intelligent and aligned in their thinking can ignite immediate desire. The more we can view foreplay as encompassing all the activities that lead to a mutual state of arousal, the better. Some individuals with penises express concern about losing their erection during extended foreplay. They might feel that after becoming aroused, they then have to exert further effort to ensure their partner's arousal, slowing down the encounter with cuddling and additional stimulation before intercourse. However, if moments of connection and intimacy are cultivated throughout the day and evening, the need for intensive, targeted foreplay diminishes, as both partners are already in a heightened state of desire. This consistent connection is key. It's also important to remember that foreplay doesn't always have to lead to penetrative sex. It can be a fulfilling end in itself. I've mentioned this previously. To further illustrate the significance of foreplay, I'd like to share insights from renowned relationship experts, Dr. John and Julie Gottman, who were guests on the show recently. Their discussion on compatibility, conflict, and conversation was insightful. The Gottmans are leading researchers in the field of relationships and have contributed significantly to our understanding of intimacy over the past 4 decades. Their research highlighted key differences between couples who report having a great sex life and those who do not. These findings directly relate to the importance of foreplay. Their study, involving 70,000 couples across 24 countries who identified as having great sex, revealed several commonalities. These couples engage in passionate kissing for no specific reason, fostering the release of feel-good hormones. They express sincere affection daily, exchanging meaningful I love yous. They surprise each other with romantic gestures and are attuned to each other's erotic turn-ons and turn-offs. They display physical affection openly, even in public, and prioritize playfulness and shared fun. Coupling is a regular part of their intimacy, and they treat sex as a priority, not just another task on a to-do list. The emphasis on playing and having fun together underscores the concept of foreplay all day. Shared experiences, like visiting a farmer's market and selecting fresh produce or exercising together, can build connection and facilitate sexual intimacy. Couples who maintain a strong friendship and communicate openly about their sex life tend to have more fulfilling relationships. Weekly dates are non-negotiable for these couples, highlighting the importance of dedicated time together. They also prioritize romantic getaways. Conversely, couples reporting a poor sex life shared several characteristics. They spend minimal quality time together, often becoming overly focused on work or childcare, neglecting their relationship. Their communication revolved mainly around logistical tasks, and they prioritized everything else over their connection. Over time, they drifted apart, leading parallel but separate lives and struggling with healthy communication. This research underscores that intentional time spent together, characterized by moments of kissing, touching, slowing down, and engaging in novel experiences, significantly differentiates between good and bad sex, and by extension, good and bad relationships. These connecting moments don't always need to be overtly sexual or physical. They can involve verbal intimacy, spontaneous acts of affection, or massage. Ultimately, a conscious commitment to nurturing the relationship is a crucial factor in fostering a satisfying sexual connection. We've discussed the importance of foreplay and prioritizing it, but let's move to practical application. How can we actively incorporate more foreplay into our lives? Here are some actionable tips for engaging in amazing foreplay. First, cultivate the right atmosphere. A cluttered or messy environment can be a significant deterrent to intimacy. Engage your five senses to create a more conducive setting. Consider the lighting, perhaps dimming the lights or using candles to create a softer ambiance. Having multiple light sources, avoiding harsh overhead lighting, can be beneficial. Think about sound. Select music that promotes relaxation or arousal, played at a comfortable volume. Scent also plays a crucial role. Consider using scented candles or essential oil diffusers with aromas like lavender, jasmine, or rose. Touch is another key element. High-quality, comfortable bedding and soft pillows can enhance the sensory experience. Surrounding yourselves with pleasant textures contributes to the overall mood. Paying attention to what you wear can also make a difference. Feeling good in your own skin and attire can boost confidence and desire. Whether it's comfortable loungewear or something more alluring, like lingerie or costumes, choosing outfits that make you feel sensual can enhance the experience. Role-playing can also be a fun way to introduce novelty and excitement. Don't reserve costumes for special occasions. Explore different scenarios and characters together. Even simple additions like wigs can spark playful interactions. Finally, consider taste. Our bodies themselves offer a range of sensual experiences, but incorporating edible elements can add another dimension to foreplay. Simple pleasures like strawberries and chocolate can be surprisingly arousing. Additionally, flavored lubricants can introduce playful and tasty sensations. Now that we've considered setting the mood, even just visualizing a more sensual environment can begin to shift your mindset. You might be wondering what comes next. One of my top recommendations is to slow down significantly, perhaps 5 times slower than usual, and re-engage in kissing. In long-term relationships, passionate kissing often diminishes. Be mindful of your partner, take your time, and explore resources on enhancing your kissing technique. Revisit the concept of Outercourse, which emphasizes touch. Consider incorporating products like massage oils, perhaps those containing CBD for a soothing effect. Massage candles that melt into warm oil can also be a delightful addition. Explore secondary erogenous zones, areas beyond the primary sexual organs, such as the neck, feet, and inner elbows. Sensory play can be incredibly stimulating. Experiment with different temperatures using ice cubes or cooling and warming lubricants. Textures like feathers and soft scarves can create intriguing sensations. For those interested, elements like whips and paddles can also be incorporated responsibly and consensually. A striptease, whether for your partner or even just for yourself in the mirror, can be a powerful form of foreplay, enhancing body awareness and confidence. Dirty talk and sexting are also valuable tools for building anticipation and expressing desires. Sending a suggestive text message earlier in the day can create excitement for what awaits later. Sexting is a great way to communicate your desires and explore fantasies. If discussing certain topics feels awkward face-to-face, texting can provide a less inhibited avenue for expression. Receiving a suggestive text can be incredibly arousing, igniting excitement and anticipation. This, keeping the pilot light lit throughout the day, helps maintain a flow of sensual energy. For those seeking guidance on dirty talk and sexting, numerous resources are available online. There are also innovative products designed to enhance foreplay. For example, the We Vibe Bond is a wearable stimulation ring for the penis that can be controlled via an app or remote, offering discrete sensations throughout the evening. The wearer might not even be aware their partner is controlling it, adding an element of surprise and teasing. For individuals with a vulva, the We Vibe Moxie serves a similar purpose. It's a wearable vibrator designed to be worn in underwear and can also be controlled remotely via the We Connect app, allowing for shared control and discrete pleasure. The Moxie is essentially a wearable panty vibrator. Butt plugs can also be incorporated into foreplay, either throughout the day or specifically during intimate moments. These are just a few examples of products that can add novelty and heightened sensation to your intimate experiences. The key is to stay curious, explore different options, and keep the spark alive. Now let's address some listener emails. Erica, 32 from New York, asks how to encourage her boyfriend to desire sex more frequently and with more passion. She feels like she has a higher sex drive, and that his approach to sex is very logical and directed, lacking the warm-up and sensual exploration she desires. She feels a disconnect between her desire for passionate intimacy and their current routine. Erica is hesitant to bring this up, fearing she might upset him or bruise his ego. Erica's situation highlights a common challenge: the difficulty in communicating about sexual needs and desires within a relationship. It's crucial to recognize that being an attentive lover is part of being a good partner. The reluctance to discuss sex openly often leads to silent dissatisfaction. It's important to emphasize that addressing these issues is essential for a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Erica should gently initiate a conversation with her boyfriend, explaining that great sex often requires effort and open communication. She can explain that foreplay can begin outside the bedroom through shared activities that enhance intimacy. He needs to understand what constitutes fulfilling sex for her. Many individuals may not realize their partner's specific desires or expectations in the bedroom, perhaps due to past experiences or a lack of open dialogue. It's possible her boyfriend simply doesn't know what she wants or how to provide it. Erica can start by sharing what she's learned about herself and her needs, suggest engaging in activities together that foster intimacy and connection. Initiate a conversation about date nights and dedicated time for each other. Use this opportunity to share her insights and desires. Referring to examples like the Netflix show Sex Life, which Erica mentioned, can be a relatable way to illustrate her feelings and the kind of dynamic she longs for. It's important to acknowledge that personality types can influence sexual expression. While some individuals might be less inclined towards passionate displays, others may simply need more information and understanding about their partner's needs. Explaining how meeting her needs will positively impact their overall relationship, fostering greater connection, reducing resentment, and enhancing mutual pleasure, can be helpful. Sometimes, providing the psychological context can bridge the gap in understanding. Julia, 32, from California, y se schedule para un procedimiento para remover células cervicales abnormales, y se ha aconsejado retrasar la penetración vaginal durante 4 a 6 semanas. Como el sexo es una parte significativa de su conexión con su novio, se le buscan formas de mantener la intimidad sexual sin penetración. Julia's situación es un ejemplo perfecto de cómo el sexo puede y debemos definirse al contacto sexual. Este periodo de recuperación ofrece una maravillosa oportunidad de intimidad. Masajes pueden ser una forma fantástica para conectarse físicamente. Exploren dichas zonas erógenas y otras zonas sensibles. Dediquen las noches para focalizarse en el placer de uno. Allowing un partner te guíe la exploración de lo que le siente bien al otro. Consider incorporating sex toys to stimulate both individual and shared pleasure. External stimulation can be incredibly satisfying. It's worth noting that for many individuals with vulvas, the primary source of pleasure isn't necessarily penile penetration, but rather stimulation through mouths, hands, and toys. If there are activities Julia and her boyfriend have been curious to try, now is an ideal time. Resources like Yes, No, Maybe lists can provide a wide range of non-penetrative sexual acts to explore. This 4 to 6 week period can be an opportunity to deepen their understanding of each other's sexual preferences and grow their intimacy in new ways. Times when physical limitations arise can also be opportunities to focus on other aspects of connection. Lawrence, 27, from Texas, expresses frustration with his marriage of 2 years, stating that their sex life is horrible. He feels his wife doesn't put much effort into their sexual encounters and no longer engages in oral sex. He's reached a point where he avoids sex despite loving her. Lawrence's situation suggests a potential disconnect in understanding and communicating sexual needs. He has come to understand his own preferences, but feels his wife may not be aware of hers or what constitutes good sex. Open communication is paramount. Lawrence needs to have an honest conversation with his wife, especially since he believes she would agree that their current sex life is unsatisfactory and that she would want to improve it. He can share what he has learned about his own desires and suggest they dedicate time to exploring what brings her pleasure. Has she explored her own body through masturbation? Does she have a clear understanding of what feels good to her? Lawrence can express his desire to not continue in this pattern for the duration of their marriage, emphasizing that 2 years is still early in their relationship and that they have the opportunity to create a more fulfilling sexual connection. He can suggest a fresh start, focusing on slowing down, communicating openly, and understanding her body better. Often, unsatisfying sex stems from a lack of experience with or understanding of pleasure. Lawrence can gently inquire about her experiences and knowledge of her own body. Since he has gained clarity about his own needs, it's now her turn to explore and communicate hers. Bree, 29, from Wyoming, is in a new intimate relationship with a longtime friend who is generous with foreplay but uncomfortable with reciprocation. He doesn't allow her to touch him intimately, even resisting kisses on the neck, and firmly rejecting the use of her hands or mouth. When she asks why, he becomes agitated and simply says he doesn't like teasing. Bree feels unable to fully enjoy their intimacy without the ability to reciprocate. Bree's situation suggests her friend may have an aversion to receiving intimate touch. For some individuals, touch is primarily associated with intercourse, and discomfort with other forms of physical intimacy can stem from various factors, including early life experiences and observed relationships. If he grew up in an environment where physical affection was limited or negatively portrayed, he might find it difficult to receive or even give touch. If he is open to it, Bree could try initiating a gentle conversation about this. She can express that reciprocation is important to her and suggest slowly exploring his comfort levels with touch. While his initial reaction might be to withdraw, given their long-standing friendship and the trust they likely share, he might be willing to examine his beliefs about touch and consider that he simply hasn't experienced the right kind of touch from someone he feels safe and trusting with. Bree can frame the conversation less around her unmet needs and more about her desire to understand and explore what feels good for him as well. As a partner begins to embrace their own sensuality and experience sexual awakening, it can positively influence and enhance their partner's experience as well.